in Eric, Oklahoma, stopped off to see this beautiful mural, and I just happened to meet Wendell Miller, Roger Miller's brother.
Well, I'm Wendell Miller. I'm Roger's brother, and I don't know, he probably never would admit that, but anyhow, and I just came into Eric here and saw these fellows here, and I introduced myself to them. They weren't impressed, but anyhow, that's. I lived here in Eric. We came here. Our dad died when we were real small. We lived in Fort Worth, Texas, and my dad's brothers lived here in Eric. So they went down and picked us up. There's three of us, and it's Harold, Wayne, Roger, and me. I'm the middle one. And anyhow, we came here. And I lived here about a year, and then my uncle had me. We all lived in California. So Roger stayed here, and I grew up in Central California near Fresno. I tell you, Roger, he took all the talent, and my older brother, he took all the brains, and I got what was left. So that's and
what do you remember about Sheb Woolley?
Oh, Sheb Woolley was actually he married the uncle that raised Roger, Melville Reed. That was their daughter, and he married her. So Roger called him brother-in-law, and because he was raised with that cousin, and that was Roger's inspiration. Actually, he had his room was all paper with Sheb Woolley posters. You couldn't even tell what color the room was. It was all Sheb Woolley stuff around, wow. And so that was his idol there. Yeah, you know, he was a good inspiration for him. And Roger just picked up a lot of that just out on his own, and that's why he's so different, because he never listened to anybody else, and he and his friend, how can I forget the guy's name? He had a good friend. They lived out in the country out here south of town, and they would go out and get into the cellar and get that radio, battery-powered radio, and they'd get the battery out of my uncle's pickup and use that for the radio until they run it down. And then the next day, my uncle get out there to go to work. Couldn't even start. Pickup wouldn't start because the battery's dead. Because they listened to that music all night long. He's a troublesome kind of kid, and so he went to the Army. They gave him a choice: either go to the Army or go to jail. I think that's what they said, basically, you know. And so he was. That's when he developed. He played in Special Forces in the Army, and that's when he really started developing his talents over there. Then he came back, and he met a relative of this Flat and Scruggs. What's Earl Flats? What's his first name?
Lester and Earl?
Lester Flats and Earl Scruggs. Yeah, he met a nephew of his, I think, and so he got him in contact with Chet Atkins for an interview, to try out, and Chet Atkins said, "Well, let's hear you do something," and he said, "Well, I didn't bring my guitar," and he said, "Oh, I got one here." So Roger picked up his guitar and he played it in C and sang in G and all that stuff. and Chet said, "Well, son, you better go home and practice. I think you need to go home and practice a little bit." And Chet Atkins later on and said it on TV. Says, "Well, I guess he did go home and practice." But he was just nervous, and he sang played one key and sang in another is what he did. Yeah. Well, I tell you, one time we came to visit here, and Roger was about 10 maybe, no, a little less than that. Anyhow, no, he's about 12, and then anyhow, I'm 2 years older, 21 months older than Roger. So anyhow, we came Roger was in the theater, in the show, and so they were going to send me to the show to where Roger was, and so anyhow, I can remember my uncle standing out there arguing about it. It cost a dime to get in. He says the show's almost over. We're going to get it for a nickel. Let's argue about this nickel or a dime. So finally, I got in for a nickel, I guess. And yeah, he went to Nashville, and he was a bellhop at the Andrew Jackson Hotel, and Mel Tillis was a friend. They were buddies there. And well, Mel Tillis was a friend with Minnie Pearl. And anyhow, Minnie Pearl was going to go on a tour. She needed a fiddle player. And so Mel told her, "Well, I know a fiddle player." She said, "Well, send him over." And so he went over and told Roger, Roger says, "Minnie Pearl needs a fiddle player. Do you want the job?" He says, "Well, I got to turn in my 2-minute notice here." So he turned in his 2-minute notice, and he went and played for Minnie Pearl. That was his first professional job, fiddle player for Minnie Pearl. And she said, "And he was the worst fiddler." because he was just getting started. But he is picked up fast, you know, and so he did, and they became really. She was really fond of Roger, and in fact, in her later days, doctor told her that says you're terminal, said. And you said if you want to go someplace, you need to go now because it won't be long. You won't feel like going anywhere. And you know where she went? She went out to Santa Fe, New Mexico to visit Roger. 2 weeks with Roger and Mary, and our mother was there too with her in that time. So I thought I was really honored with that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of visiting Roger in Nashville?
You know what? I'll tell you the truth. I have never been to Nashville.
Never?
No, I never crossed the Mississippi. I come to here, and you know, I get into Arkansas, and I go up and visit my buddies, Sons of Britches up in Branson. If you ever get a chance to go up there, see those guys. They're really good musicians, and they're good. Put on a good show. In fact, they were voted best small show. What do you call it? Small venue or something in Branson. So,
okay.
They're a lot of fun. I'm going to go see them from here on. But,
I'd recently heard from somebody in Johnny Cash's orbit that Johnny and June considered Roger their best friend.
They were good friends, yeah, and and Marty Stewart used to play bass for Roger, you know, and back about '89, I think it was, yeah. And, before he, of course, he's played a lot of. Marty Stewart was a great musician, clear back. I think he was born playing that dang mandolin, you know, and. You know, I get to go meet a lot of famous people. You know, I'll say it gets me into places I don't belong. You know,
Have you gone to see Marty anytime recently?
You know, Marty is in my hometown right now, and I came out here, and so we didn't. I missed him. He's performing there in Hanford. He's got a tour going through California right now. Well, you know, I taught everything I knew to Kenny Vaughn about the guitar, which didn't take very long. He learned the rest on his own. That guy can pick that guitar. Man, he does it so easy too. He just, yeah. I really admire his guitar playing. Yeah.
What do you think of this mural?
I think this is spectacular. You got some pictures of it, I guess. You know, the guy did this. I don't know how anybody can do that.
What would Roger think of that, or what would your parents think of that?
Oh yeah, they would really be amazed at that. You know, how can you capture that and put it on a wall and give a feature like that? I don't know how I could do it. That's really talent I get. And
so you just drove from California?
Yeah, I come from California, Hanford. Yeah, little town there. Well, it's getting bigger now. What the world's largest naval air station out there in Lemoore was 15 miles away, and so it's a big Navy base. That's what brought a lot of people there. You know, he lived in a little town. First we went there, he went to Madison. Yeah. And I don't know. And then he lived out of town there, Madison. Yeah, Mary's back there now. I don't know where, what part of town, but she's there. She lives there in Nashville. His widow, yeah.
Okay. It's nice to meet you, Wendell.
Very glad to meet you. And you guys, hope you have a good trip, and don't take any wooden nickels.